If you're a digital nomad and you're planning to stay in Pererenan, Bali, which is kind of the more chill alternative to Canggu, but you still want a high-end gym experience, then you can't miss this video. So if you caught my video on Tribal Co-working Hostel, you already know I'm a pretty big fan of Pererenan, but as Dan Martel likes to say, exhaust the body to tame the mind. So even though I found Tribal to be an excellent co-working space, you need to be able to pair it with an awesome gym that matches that same energy. So today I'm gonna go ahead and review Wrong Gym in Pererenan, Bali. I will be rating it based on design, equipment, culture, friction, and finally price. So design, as soon as you walk into Wrong Gym, immediately it's beautiful. You feel like you're in a cool little exclusive club. Even from the front desk, you can see there's an awesome cafe. You can see there's a beautiful pool with a really cool layout and then a sauna. You go upstairs, there's a multi-room gym with a lot of really clean, really nice equipment. And then and then there's a giant window that overlooks your kind of little part of Bali. So overall, you feel just like you're in a really cool little jungle hideout with awesome equipment. And so as far as design, definitely going to give it an A. So equipment was really nice. It was clean. It was modern. The one thing even though it has everything and it's nice and spaced out, it doesn't have a whole lot of redundancy in equipment. When I was there, it wasn't too busy, so it wasn't like I was really fighting for equipment with anybody, but there's a potential chance that if you have a little bit of a surge, you could run into some issues just due to lack of extra squat racks and benches and all that other stuff. But it is a premium gym, so it does that on purpose to sort of limit how many people are in there at any one time. So you shouldn't have too much overlap with trying to compete for different pieces of equipment while you're actually in there. But that's always a factor. You never know. And so I'm going to go ahead and say for equipment, I'm going to give it a B. So as far as the culture goes, not really a meathead gym. Definitely a lot of people there that are in excellent shape. But one of the things that I noticed when I was there late 2025, the current disagreement situation in Eastern Europe is still ongoing. And it definitely seemed like there are a lot of people that are trying to avoid that part of the world. And so are hanging out there. So you have a lot of people speaking Slavic languages. For me, I think that's awesome. It's cool. You get a little multicultural aspect. A lot of people that are escaping that part of the world generally are really mellow and chill. But for you personally, if that is a planning consideration, it's definitely something to think about. With that, also, there were a lot of hot girls there at the gym too. So as far as friction, I had a pretty long rule book that they required you to read in full while you're at the desk and agree to, which part of that actually was that you weren't allowed to bring in any tripods for filming or any professional camera equipment. So as a result, when you look at that's the reason that a lot of my B-roll, there's not that much footage of the inside of the gym. But also they did explicitly tell me that it was okay for me to film with my phone. So that's what I do have. But because of that rule, I didn't want to be overly obnoxious and be waving my phone around too much. So I tried to get it as much as I could when it was I was kind of a little bit farther from people, just so you had a general idea of what the inside of the gym looked like. As you can see, it's gorgeous. And I guess you just have to take my word for it. It is excellent, but that is something to consider. For me, that's not really a big deal just because I don't really unless I'm doing one of these gym reviews, I'm not really filming. And obviously I get kind of annoyed too when I see somebody having their tripod in the middle and you're going to kind of walk around and avoid all that crap. I don't even bring a tripod. Whenever I do film, I end up having just kind of a little clamp thing that I'll put somewhere. So while I am filming, I try to be very courteous to other people. So just to be aware of that too. But as far as friction, just because that rule book is a little bit long, I just go ahead and say I'm just going to have to give them a B on that. Okay, so I'm going to have to go with my notes because my battery's running out. But so is it worth it? At Wrong Gym, they broke the price down into two different tiers. There's basically a after 3 p.m. price point, and then there is a all-day price point. All the gym memberships actually allow you to have full gym access, full pool access, full sauna access. So the really only difference is there's one membership tier that allows you to access everything after 3 p.m. and then one that allows you access all hours of when they're open. So the 3 p.m. have full access after 3 p.m. It runs 2.6 million rupiah, which is about 155 US dollars. Now, if you want the full access tier, which honestly, if I were going to go back there and I were going to get this, I would go ahead and just get the full access tier. The full access tier runs you 3.2 million rupiah, which is $190. But compared to some of the other places I've been that are not nearly as nice, that ask similar price points, I think 190 is totally worth it. Obviously, it's going to be just this one location, but it is an amazing location And if you're staying in Pererenan, I mean, like, I don't really know why you'd want to be going anywhere else anyway. So the final verdict for wrong gym, is it worth it? Yeah, that is $190 for a month. Yeah, that is pretty expensive. Is it worth it to me? Fuck yes. I would definitely go back there. I would definitely love to be working both there and in Tribal, making dreams come true every day. In fact, I look forward to going back there at some point to do just that. If you want to check it out for yourself and you're still on the fence though, it is $30 for a day pass. They of course do that so that you can, check it in, join a buddy if they happen to be going there. But more than anything, they keep it kind of high just because they don't want a lot of extra people going in there. So if it were me, I would just, ask one of the staff members to take a look around, and then I would just, make sure it has what you want, but then I'd pretty much just drop the $190 on the spot. That way you're clean and clear and you're like signed up and you're good to go. If there was anything that I didn't mention in this review, go ahead and leave a comment. Even if I don't happen to know the answer that I'm able to reply to you, that at least lets me know to look into those things for when I'm doing future gym reviews. So a comment would be really, really helpful if you think I missed anything. Other than that, if you liked this, if you actually do want to go ahead and check out Wrong Gym, but you also, if you want the perfect co-working space to pair with Wrong Gym, then the video for that is right there.